Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the official Hermitcraft Modsauce server. Yes, it is that time. I heard a zombie. They're coming out from all sorts of places at the moment, spawning around the place. So unfortunately I messed up my recording for the intro of this video. I had something really cool to show you guys. I had planted down an absolute ton of trees in a row and then I chopped them all down in one go with my lumber axe and got a ridiculous amount of charcoal from it. It looked really cool, but unfortunately I didn't record it correctly. I guess I haven't checked all of the settings and stuff like that because right now we are actually in 1.7.10 and that means I have to use the AT launcher to play the game, which I'm a little unfamiliar with, so I didn't set things up correctly and unfortunately that happened. But you may have noticed there are some blocks missing from our tree farm over here. That is because of the update. Now this is one of the reasons we didn't release the mod pack sooner, is because when we updated to 1.7.10 things like this could happen where, you know, carpenter's blocks will have to remove themselves, and that's just the nature of the mods, I guess. So this is something that I've got to deal with right now. If we head back over to the base, you'll see that there are some strange bugs around the place, and of course this won't occur for you guys because you won't have to update from 1.7.2 to 10. Get out of my garden. It's not my garden, it's the village's garden, but I don't know what you're doing in there. Yeah, so what was I saying? The mod pack is going to be delayed a little bit, just because it took us a lot longer to update to 1.7.10 than we thought it would, but now that we're here, all we got to do is some testing, and everything seems to be fine. And that is not a creeper, is it? That's just a guy with a creeper head on. You know, there's so many of them down here now, you get loads of hats in there each time. In fact, this is pretty much a way to make a hat farm. Get loads of animals, just log out and log back in, it will change every time, and they'll all have different hats on, and then you can pick out the ones that you want. Like that guy right there, I want that hat! Yes, let's, oh, that's even an achievement, that's very cool. I wonder if the achievement menu is bigger in here. Can't remember if I actually looked at this. So I see a button for Minecraft, so that's the regular one, including that. Let's click on that. Okay, so there's one for Twilight Forest. Now this could be something really interesting to do. And advanced genetics as well. I have no idea what half of this stuff is. Buildcraft, Growthcraft. I know about that one a little bit. Okay, it's good to know that there are some other achievement trees. Anyway, let's put on that wither hat. H for hats. Where is it? Ha! That looks really cool. Let's take off the helmet and go into F5 for a second. Oh, there we go. That is absolutely awesome. I've seen Zul'jin wearing that one around the place, and it is one of the coolest hats around. I think I'm going to wear that for a little while. Always do a test, a test, a test. If you don't do a test, then you might have a sad face. A fair amount of time has passed by since I last recorded, and unfortunately the transition to 1.7.10 has not been that smooth. We're still having problems with carpenter's blocks, which makes my base look a little bit silly at the moment. There's some other issues as well. I think the Zelda mod was removed from the game. You can see over there in the background, you know, there's blocks missing. And this is why we didn't update it any sooner. You know, we don't want to put you through things like this. But cool news, there has been a rollback in this area because of some problems with the mods. And that means that all of my trees over there are back. And we can chop it all down in one go with that axe, which I'm looking forward to showing you. But we're just going to do that in a moment because I've been learning about a few other things in between that I want to show you. But first of all, if we go down below, I have been doing things in between the episodes, of course. And the last one, we started work on our storage area, and I found something that I'm happy with now. We've just got some barrels and then some chests down below. And of course, if we need to upgrade the barrels, we can make them into these better barrels. But that's going to be a nice kind of system that we got going on. And what I want to do is also try and link what's in the barrels to the chests down below. So for example with this one, there's stone bricks and then there's going to be stone bricks above them as well. But of course, organising items in Minecraft is a nightmare, and in the mods it is just made that much worse. And do you know what, this place down here just looks a little bit silly at the moment without the carpenter's blocks. And at the back here we've got some furnaces. These are actually iron furnaces, which you guys told me about, which work a lot faster. You make them out of iron, and guess what, they've been removed from the pack, so I couldn't show you those. In fact, there wasn't really a lot to show. You probably know about them already. As you know, I'm a total newbie with these mobs. Mobs? I keep doing that. Mods. That's how we pronounce it. Mods. Anyway, let's take a look at something else that I've been looking at. This is part of Tinker's Constructs. You can actually put gravel inside a casting basin, which is pretty damn cool. You can even put a hopper on the side so it goes in automatically, which works really well when you've got a clock up the top here and it's automatically taking things out of the faucet. But the thing I was trying to do is make brownstone, and you do that by putting tin inside of here, and all you need is a nugget's worth of tin to go on top of the gravel. and then it makes brownstone. So I've got a fair amount of it down here. This stuff is really cool. Now, if you remember, our idea for the project in this area is to rebuild this village and make it look cool. And one of the things I want to do with the paths is have brownstone because it makes you go faster. Now watch what happens as we walk over here. We get slightly faster than when we're walking alongside it. I just sprinted there. Let's try that again. So that's the normal speed, and then on brownstone you go a little bit faster, which is pretty cool. That's going to make it easier to get around. But the cool thing is, every time you upgrade the brownstone you go a little bit faster. So this is rough brownstone, and I think if you smelt it, it becomes brownstone. Yeah, just brownstone. Let's actually type that in. Brownstone. Okay, so rough brownstone becomes brownstone when you smelt it, and then you go a little bit faster, and then you can use chisel to make it into brownstone bricks. In fact, each time you use the chisel, I do believe it kind of rotates through a variety of different stone bricks textures, which is actually really nice. I'm not sure if any of them go any faster, but that certainly is cool. So this thing right here, the drawbridge, is something else that I want to show you, and it's awesome. I know some of you have already seen it, but I'd really like to show you rather than explaining. So I'm just trying to craft it at the moment. We've had to make some blank casts, make some bronze ingots, and I've just found out that these ones are actually aluminium brass ingots. They kind of look the same as the other one, so I've got to research how to make that. But then we'll be making a drawbridge, and the two of those things are going to go into a project that we're going to be doing today. So I'm just going to crack on and make that thing, and then I'll be able to show you how it works, and it's going to be really awesome. And before we do that, of course, we're going to chop down this tree again. And if you look down in my hotbar, I actually have 2 lumber axes. That's because of the rollback. I had one in my inventory and one was hanging up on the rack, so we're just going to chuck that away because that one is a little bit cheaty. And I guess chopping down these trees again is cheaty, but because I didn't get to record it before, I figured it would be alright just to show you guys. It's not going to do everything in one go, but if we hit the bottom block, we're going to get an epic amount of lag. We even get XP. Did we get XP last time? I think I'm brain farting because I haven't played this in a while. That's extremely cool. Let's plop down some blocks so we can hop up here and collect all of this charcoal. So you can see it didn't get everything, and I think the reason why is pretty obvious because there was a ridiculous amount of trees here. But I'm just going to spend some time getting back all of my saplings. So much XP in my face, and just chopping down the rest of this stuff. So the aluminium brass, it is 3 aluminium and 1 copper, and you have to put it inside the smeltery. There's actually some left over in there. I'm not sure how much left we have. Just 4 ingots anyway. Let's get another one of those going. The drawbridge. I have successfully crafted it, and it is the most awesome block that I have found so far. I absolutely love this. This is so awesome. So let's grab it and let me show you what it does. This is going to be cool. Okay, so that's the drawbridge, and in here, I'm not sure what this thing actually does yet, but we're going to put some fence posts, and then we're going to power this thing, and then it's just going to casually send all of the fence posts up into the sky, like that. And that goes as far as 15 blocks, and that is incredible. I love that, and then when we remove it, it comes all the way back down again. Now, I don't know if you can do anything fancy when you power it, like make it push the blocks out faster or slower, but when you destroy this block, it also stores the inventory as well, which is very cool. It tells you how much is inside of there. So let's place it down over here facing on its side. You'll see when we power it that it just does the same thing going in the direction that it's facing, and it goes all the way across by 15 blocks, which is awesome. There is going to be so many cool things that we can do with this, and I've got some ideas already. And if we put a block in its path, it will just go as far as it can and then it will stop, which is pretty cool. But things get a little bit cooler here because there's this other little bit over here. If we just put a random block there, the drawbridge then looks like that block, which makes this thing incredibly, like, you know, easy to disguise and hide. That is really cool. I do like that. So let's just power it again, and it's just going to act like it normally does. So I was playing around with this, and I started thinking about, you know, what other blocks could you try and get it to place. Now I wanted to do some carpets, see what would happen if you place carpets in the air, but unfortunately I don't have any wool of all the things that there are in these mods, and I don't have walls. So I started playing around with ladders, and actually let's do what I did a moment ago. I initially placed this like facing outwards on the side, put some ladders in there and powered it, and the ladders just basically pop off, which looks really strange. And it actually pops off the further along it goes, rather than trying to place it and realise that the one before it has broken, which might be useful. Anyway, it got me thinking that maybe the way this is supposed to work is that you use it vertically. So if you had a wall or something for the ladders to go up, then it would be able to place them on them, which it doesn't seem to be able to, unfortunately. Let's put the ladders back in there. Now, I don't know what this does. I'm going to go look it up in a moment, but it got me thinking that maybe when you're placing a block like a ladder, you need to choose what side it's going to be facing, which would be really cool if we could have pop-up ladders, you know. You could have like a pressure plate in front of this thing, walk up to it, and then the ladder is just going to appear in front of you and you can climb up. But unfortunately, that is not the case. If we power this thing, it just starts spitting the ladders out like that, which isn't what we want, and that scared the hell out of me. That is a zombie in some crazy looking armor. We're going to go kill him in a second. Let's just unpower this thing, and I'm guessing, well, we're facing that direction, so if we're facing this direction then that changes, but I've tried it with each of these highlighted and it's definitely not what it does, but I really want to know if we can do that. And that was strange. It looked like the ladders started popping up all the way up the top there, so anyway, that is the drawbridge. I'm going to try and find out if we can do that, but let's just kill this guy quickly. It might be a powerful battle. I have no idea what kind of armor he's got on. No, it's going to be easy, isn't it? And we get a new hat as well. There we go. So I've been doing some testing, and those arrows... yes, I've made each one of these go in a different direction, and if we power them one by one, you'll see the stairs get placed like that, and then like this, and like that. But unfortunately, it doesn't work for ladders. However, I did notice if you just put the one ladder in by itself, it doesn't break off, and it actually gets placed right there. You can see we're looking at a ladder. You can climb on top of it, and then hop up like that. But if you place two of them in a row, it breaks off. So maybe that's a bug. Maybe it's supposed to support them, but unfortunately it doesn't at the moment. And there is another zombie around here. There's more of them spawning. And what I've noticed is that their armor seems to be getting stronger. I guess we've been in the area for a long time, and perhaps the difficulty is increasing. Look, there's some more of them. Let's kill this guy. So I'm a little bit annoyed at the moment. I was inspired to go and do some building. I had a project in mind, and as I looked up the materials in the mods to, you know, build this thing with, I just found that they seem to go on like these endless journeys of crafting recipes for things that you don't know how to get, and it kind of reminded me that maybe we need to be focusing more on just getting ourselves set up at the moment. There's still plenty of farms that we can build. One of the things that I did want to build was the chainmail farm. However, that seems a little impractical at the moment, and it's not something we really need now that we know we can craft that stuff with iron basically. So I thought what we'd do is make a blaze and a creeper farm, since we have blaze spawners and creeper spawners. And there was something that I saw over at Biffa's area. He had a enderman spawner with these iron spikes underneath them. So if I place these down and jump on it, I think I'm going to have a bad time. Oh, look at that. You didn't even need to jump on top of it. You just stand next to it, and it's like cactus. It does damage to you. Now, if we look at the recipe for this thing, you can see that it's iron swords, iron, and an iron block. I really like that crafting recipe. But this thing is extremely useful because you can just put it down on a little grid and let the mobs fall down on top of it. They'll take damage until they die. Now, there is one question, is automatic item collection. I think what we're going to need to do is put some hoppers underneath. However, these look like they are actually full blocks, so that might not work, and we might have to use something from the mods. But for these farms, we're not going to do anything too pretty. What I think I'm going to do is just in this little space right here, I'm going to dig a little bit of the hill away and just build a structure with some glass around it so that we can see what's going on inside the mob spawner. And there is some special glass that I've been told about that I just haven't had the time to investigate, that apparently you can see through but the light doesn't go through. So that's going to be useful for this. We can see our farm in action. We'll probably install some redstone on top of it so we can turn it on and off as well, since it's so close to our base. But I think it's going to be a pretty fun project. So I better get to work and start digging. So I'm digging away over here, doing the work, clearing out this area, and what do I find? A little room with a chest in it, and it's got a diamond. That is a nice reward. I don't know why this chest is here. Obviously it's a mod, but it's a little bit strange, isn't it? Anyway, I will happily take that, but my inventory is full again. One of the things about this area and working on it is these botania flowers. There are just so many of them that my inventory fills up like every 2 minutes, and I'm always taking little trips back and forth. But it's no bother, I'm enjoying it, so let's crack on anyway. So I'm heading back to spawn, just coming over here to get some items, and I've been absolutely stunned. This is one of the reasons that I was really excited about playing mods. The amount of building block materials. This is just, you know, different types of sandstone blocks down here. This one is a sandstone mosaic. I do believe that just connects together as you place it around, but this is something eventually we'll get into looking at, and I gotta say, this looks stunning. It really does, but when we go inside, it's just a whole another level. Look at these building materials. This is what Minecraft needs, just more options when it comes to building. It looks ever so cool. This stuff is called Tyrian, by the way. No idea how you make that. However, I used to play a game when I was a kid called Tyrian 2000, and it was absolutely awesome. If anyone knows that game, high five to you. There's Mr. Mumbo with the most awesome hat. That totally suits him. But let's just go through here where Mumbo's going, and you'll see that this room looks pretty fancy as well. These blocks down here are lovely. I can't wait till I've got, the kind of resources and knowledge, because you need to know how to make all of this stuff to craft these blocks as well. But anyway, I came over here to find some sheep. Apparently there is a sheep farm, because we need that to craft the dark glass of all things. So I got the wool for the dark glass, and right now I'm harvesting some marble, which is the other material that we're going to use in this building. And I just wanted to show off this deposit. I mean, there is just so much marble here. I'm just going to dig down a little bit to see how far down this goes. And I can pretty much like branch mine or strip mine this stuff out, which is absolutely awesome. And that is some crazy green liquid. I have no idea what that is. I think that's actually just water, but it's changed because it's in a different biome. But this is really good. It's nice to know that this stuff spawns in like this. And I'll show you what I'm doing with this in a little bit, of course. But we also have a new neighbour in the area. In fact, I'm just going to go up top and show you that quickly. It turns out that Slipgator is right across the way from me, because my base is back in that direction. You can see that because of the latest death marker. And as I was walking out here, I see this big strange building that I recognise from his episodes. So we have a neighbour, which is cool. And he really isn't that far at all. So if we just go over to the left here, we should be able to see his building. And the FPS in this area has really dropped. It's going down to like 40 at the moment. So I'm going to guess that's because of the things he's doing with the mods, or maybe just something else. But there you go, that's Slipgator's area. That building looks awesome, and I love the way he's incorporated what I think is, it's kind of like his logo, or at least it reminds me of his logo. Now that I look at it, it's not really the same, is it? But there you go, we've got a neighbour. And I'm going to grab all of this marble, and then we'll go over and see the farms that I'm building in a moment. So I've just gone completely ham here and tried to get as much of this stuff as I can. And look at this, I'm filling up my bag of holding. And there's clearly a lot more around here. So these deposits are enormous. I'm just going to clear out this little bit over here. But it's so cool doing this. I like the digging in Minecraft, but in modded, you just do so much more, so much quicker. It's really cool, and I like it. And yeah, I'm kind of getting carried away, and there's a lot we got to do, because playing this modded game, it takes so much time, and probably because I get carried away collecting resources like I'm doing right now. But there you go, that is an awesome marble deposit. I will of course come back here if I ever need more in the future. So let's head back to base and continue work on those farms. So these just might be the ugliest structures I think I've ever built in this game. They're not too bad really, but they are certainly not something fancy to look at. And what I wanted to use was a different marble in the beginning. This one over here, if you use it with the chisel mod, just creates all of these textures that are absolutely lovely. And just a few of these mixed together could have made something really interesting over here. So I gathered up some marble, as you saw, and unfortunately there are two different types of marble in the game, and this one isn't compatible. Now I think in the future it's going to be made so they are interchangeable, which would be nice. But this chisel mod here is absolutely fantastic. I'm sure a lot of you know about this. You put blocks into the chisel, and then you can see all the different variants of it that it takes to make that. Now making this has actually taken me some time, putting all of the glass together. The recipe for this thing wasn't straightforward. You had to take regular glass and mix it with sand and smelt it over and over again, and eventually you end up with this dark glass. Now you can kind of see the effect of this if we go inside. You notice there's some like darker patches in the glass. In fact, that's kind of difficult to demonstrate now because it's night time. But if I take out these torches in here, the light levels are going to be lower, so we can see in here. And you can see just the dark patch emerging there in the corner. So we're going to have two farms. We're going to have a blaze farm on one side, a creeper on the other. And I put the spawners like this. This does mean that their spawning areas are going to overlap, and it's going to be slightly less efficient. But the thing is, we're allowed to move these spawners, which is ridiculous. So, of course, we can make a better farm. But this thing's just going to be running over here when we want it to. And I don't think efficiency is the biggest concern. So one of these is going to be for the creepers. That means we put some lights in at the top, and then we can turn it on and off. And for the blaze one, we're going to have to use lava. So something I've got to remember to do, which I think we'll put the blaze one on this side, is just place some dispensers facing downwards up the top there so we can drop in lava. Now I know that is a very vanilla way of doing things. There's probably something a lot better with the mods, but at the moment I don't have the time to learn about it. And one thing I've got to say It takes a real long time doing this. It's taken me a ridiculous amount of time to get as far as I've got so far. And all the crafting and all those things that you've got to learn about, it really does take a long time. And so I'm always going to be playing this game with a vanilla approach in mind, which is fine because it's still fun to play like that. So we've got something down here. This is an item collector. And I just realised I didn't really test this correctly because my plan is to have these underneath the iron spikes. So this picks up items in like a 5x5 radius. If we go over by 2 blocks, throw an item down there, it'll pick it up, and if we go over to the other side, it won't. But does it do it at this height? That is what I have not tested. Okay, let's grab... Oh, you can place them in different directions. Well, that's good to know. That could be pretty cool. So it picks it up, and that looks like it's going to pick it up on the edge here as well. So I'm going to guess then this is outside the area. Alright, so it's a 2x2 area and it goes up above as well. That's good to know. Let's see if it picks them up at this height. No, it doesn't. It just stays there. Well, that is a really nice relief because I didn't test that and that could have been something that didn't work and that could have backfired. So what we're going to do is underneath our iron spikes is we're going to have these item collectors. Now, with the blazes, this is really convenient because we can't kill them with full damage, but with the creepers we could kill them slightly faster. So one thing I might do in the future is actually change that. But I'm going to make it so the floor down the bottom is underneath the escape area, which means once the creepers or blazes have fallen below that area, they'll be on top of the spikes, and then it means more and more creepers and blazes can spawn. So all in all, it looks like this farm is going to work at the moment. Pretty sure there's probably one little thing I haven't considered. And I tell you what, putting the spawners in here is also going to be a little bit of a challenge as well. But I think what we're going to do is stand over the edge here. We're going to break the dirt. I'm going to have to put a block underneath that one and just place the 2 spawners down, break the block underneath, and then get out of here. And then this thing will be running. And I just had another thought as well. Those lights that I want to put in the ceiling, they might not fully deactivate the spawner on the bottom, but that's no worry really. We could do the lava thing, or there's probably something in the mods that you guys are going to be suggesting that will work with this. So we're getting there. I'm going to get both of these prepared now, and then we're going to install the spawners. We'll do that on camera because that could obviously go wrong, and then we're going to be done here, which is good. Unfortunately, I am not going to be able to finish this episode. I've already put a lot of time into this one. It's mainly just the off-camera tedious stuff like, collecting materials and crafting things. But these iron spikes, I have greatly underestimated how expensive they are. But this is going to work. Down the bottom here, we've got a chest with an item collector, so this will serve as a collection room where we're going to have 4 of these. And by the way, the recipe for this is that right there, and there's also an advanced one as well. Now, I don't have glowstone because the Nether is a scary place. But hopefully we can get that in the future. And I did do some research on this. I watched some mod spotlight videos and looked at some wikis and couldn't find any information about that at all. So I have no idea what it does. It could collect items from a larger radius, or it could be an item filter or something like that. Oh, and by the way, I do actually have 3 creeper spawners. So this one on this side will be ever so slightly bigger. And I have no iron for the iron spikes at the moment. I just put my last stack into the smeltery over here, and that should have finished smelting, which I think it has. And we have 14 blocks of iron. So let's just quickly have a look at the iron spikes. Yeah, I've greatly underestimated how much we need for this because it's a block of iron plus 3 iron and then another load of those. It's basically, I think, 3 sticks and 2 iron blocks per 4 of those. And we need 64 for each of these. So I need to do a lot of branch mining in between episodes and get a lot of iron, and then hopefully next episode we can get this up and running. But that is going to be it for this one. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. It will always be appreciated, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.